Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's my channel and it's another Let's Talk, and today, apparently I'm going to have fluffy hair. Today I wanted to talk about money. I'm going to put this out there. I am terrible with money. I'm not the greatest, and it sort of stems from the fact that I've always lived for today. Losing a parent quite young, I always felt like, what's the point? You know, I could die tomorrow. I'm not going to take it with me. That was always, up until recently, that was always my feeling. Historically, I got myself into quite a lot of debt. I racked up a lot of credit card debts and loans, and in 2010, I worked out that I probably owed back about £12,000 in total. I went to Experian, I think it was, and I looked up my credit report and I checked out all the debts that were waiting to be paid, most of which had been put on hold. I was quite lucky actually, because I didn't have any CCJs outstanding on me. Nobody was chasing me for money. I wasn't getting any letters actually, and that's what really freaked me out. I got to 2010, I thought, I haven't heard anything from anyone for a really long time. And so I was keen to start the process myself. And I decided that I would set up with a company actually, I decided to do it with. But I decided to set up like a debt management plan where I would pay back every single penny that was owed. And it took 6 years, and I did it this year, and I felt so amazing when that was paid off. Obviously, since 2010, even since when I had the debt problems, I have started earning more. So I've been quite lucky that my salary has got better over the years. But there have been times in my life where I was so keen to ensure that I wasn't going to get into any more debt. I was just paying to live, but I was paying my debts off, that it got to a point where I'd moved out and I moved into this big house. I wonder if I've got any pictures I can show you. If I do, I will put one up here. I loved that house. I moved in this huge house, and I ended up paying so much money. It was honestly the most ridiculous thing. Ended up paying so much money for that house, even though I'd got some housemates as well that were paying, but they weren't paying very much. I was just living on ketchup and rice because I had nothing. I had absolutely no money, and it was really difficult because, you know, people would ask me to go out and I couldn't. I'd have nothing, and explaining to people that I was broke was really hard, and they couldn't understand why I had nothing. And a lot of that really stemmed from the fact that I could never ask anybody for money. I mean, I don't have the bank of mum and dad. That is never an option. In fact, from the age of 18, I basically stopped asking my mum for money. She bailed me out a couple of times, but I had to pay her back. Well, it was like a couple of £100. I was literally, and she had to then go into debt. I mean, she's worse with money than I am. And so I paid it back, and I paid every single penny back. And although my grandparents were probably in a place, I didn't want to talk to them about my money problems. I didn't want them knowing about it. So I sort of kept it to myself and just figured I would get myself through it. So I can really see, although it never happened, I can really see how some people could potentially become homeless, because it really can. It can get on top of you. I was really lucky that, you know, I was able to get a grip on everything, because I think it would have really impacted my future, especially getting older. I do contribute to pensions and share save schemes and stuff like that, because I do feel like it's coming out of my salary, and it's not a lot, and it's actually, things are starting to happen now. You know, my share save scheme has matured this year, which is great. So I've got a little savings nest for doing stuff in the house, and I've got another one next year. So things like that have really helped. But I honestly don't think I could have done it if I did. I had to do an incomings and outgoings plan. And I think that, sorry about the lighting, by the way. I think that if you're struggling, you go to Money Saving Expert. That's my first piece of advice. This has not been sponsored, by the way, but not at all. But I wanted to, I wanted to sort it out. And my mum suggested going to Money Saving Expert, and there's lots of templates that you can use. And there isn't, I believe, because there was when I was there was a template for incomings and outgoings. And if your incomings are more than your outgoings, you really are okay. If it's the other way around, if your incomings are less than your outgoings, then you really do have to reassess what can you make savings on. And I'm sure if you go onto that website, I really wish that they would organise that website better. It's so busy. There's so much, but there's so much information. I also sign up to a lot of his emails because I find that they're really useful. So yeah, and saving money is something that I've started to really enjoy, and I think it became a necessity. So yes, although once I was eating rice and ketchup, I never went hungry because I would do something about it. So if I needed more money, I used to raid stuff to see if I could sell it, make sure that everything that I had in my house that I was using. And so if I wasn't using it, I would sell it. And whether that be on a car boot sale or through eBay, that was how I was making more money, just to be able to eat. I remember going to a car boot sale and making 25 quid, and that was my weekly shop. And I was desperate for it. I remember going out once and finding £10 on the floor when I only had £2.80 in the bank, and that was my weekly shop. I was, it was a struggle at some points. You're rich for a day, aren't you? And then suddenly it all goes on to bills, and you've got 4 or 5 weeks, especially the 5-week months. They're the worst. You've got 5 weeks where you are literally scraping together things. I found that I was using books like Economy Gastronomy. If you haven't seen that cookbook, it's incredible. And like buying a whole chicken for myself from Aldi for £2.80, just a small one, but cooking it and having that for a few days, and really trying to get more for my money. And I mean, it's the same with the makeup that I buy. And you guys probably think I'm spending a fortune, but I'm always looking for discounts. I'm always trying to get more for less. I don't think I pay full price for much at all, because I'm so funny about the fact that if somebody can put a sale on, it means that everything that they're selling you is overpriced. Therefore, when a sale is on, they're still making a profit. And they're probably going to sell more because they've given a reduction. So I always wait for either a 20% off. 10% is never really good enough, I don't think. A £10 off. I saw a £10 off a £40 spend for Cult Beauty the other day, although that has expired. But that sort of thing where it's really worth it, just wait for it. Black Friday deals, that was always really good. So yeah, I think I would always advise try not to pay the full price for anything. And I do that for everything. If I can get a bargain, I feel so good. Even my engagement ring, I managed to get a discount because I was just like, I don't want to pay full price. We got discounts on all of our wedding stuff. We tried to find the cheapest for everything. Our whole wedding, we managed to do at a discount of what it cost less than £2,000 for the whole thing, including the honeymoon, which is just incredible. And we did things like we were thrifty. We did ask people to bring their own food, not bring their own food, bring a dish along to the reception, so that we could, I've always been part of a family that shares. And the Egyptian culture is where you would have parties and people would bring food, like a dish with them, and that's what we asked. And there was so much food. Like, if everybody brings a dish, then obviously there's more food. And it was incredible. There was a lot of, and it felt good because we didn't ask for gifts. We don't need it because we can save and buy our own things. But that was great. So I do now feel better that I can save a little bit, and I feel like I contribute a lot to the house and to our marriage and our partnership. And it feels nice. It feels nice to have that financial freedom, in the sense that I'm not paying off all those huge debts anymore. And I no longer have credit cards or loans or what's that thing that you have in your bank? Overdraft. I haven't had one for years. So that's really my journey. I'd love to hear from you. This is, it's a difficult subject, but I would really love to hear from you. Again, I will always ask, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.